All right, I think Karanjeet, we can start now. Sebastian will join soon. Um, just confirming again if I can be seen well and I can be heard well as well.
Yes, Ayodhya, it's completely visible and the sound quality is also amazing. So please go ahead.
Perfect, perfect, Karanjeet. All right, so welcome everyone to the webinar 3 of Smart Start Saturdays webinar series organized by BMW Educational Consultancy Sri Lanka. Today we have two prestigious universities and institutes from Australia. We have the largest regional university, Charles Sturt University, as well as the prestigious Australian Institute of Business Intelligence today in our webinar. Please welcome Karanjeet Singh, the recruitment manager from AIBI. Welcome, Karanjeet.
Thank you very much, Ayodhya. Thank you for organizing this.
Thank you for joining this session today on a Saturday, especially when the Cricket World Cup is going on. Uh, initially, I will start off with a brief introduction about ourselves to anyone who is in the session who does not know who BMW Educational Consultancy is. BMW Educational Consultancy Sri Lanka is a part of the BMW Educational Consultancy Group with a presence in Australia and a large presence in Nepal and now in Sri Lanka as well. So we have a large range of universities and institutes that we directly partner with. That some of you, if you all have joined our previous webinars, you would have met some of the universities and institutes. And we do have, even after the session today, we have about 3 or 4 sessions after this as well. So we maintain a high success rate, and that's thanks to our competent and amazing team of student and visa counselors working with us. So without taking much time, I will pass on to Karanjit Singh from AIBI to start off with his presentation about AIBI.
Thank you very much, Ayodhya, for this opportunity to connect with Sri Lankan students. Like Ayodhya mentioned, my name is Karanjeet and I look after the South Asia region for AIBI, or Australian Institute of Business Intelligence. If I talk about AIBI, we are a new age higher education provider. Our focus, as the name suggests, is on business intelligence. So that's the niche we are trying to cater. So all our current and future courses are going to be around business intelligence. When we talk of business intelligence as a domain, we are also talking about artificial as well as human intelligence here. So our courses are going to be around this niche. If I talk about our legacy, we have been into education from last 10 years. We run a couple of colleges in Sydney. AIBI was formed with a vision of bridging the gap between the classroom and the workplace. We started recruiting students a couple of years back, and we are currently having campuses in two most popular locations for students in Australia, Sydney and Melbourne. The good part, both the campuses are right in the heart of each city. So we are in CBD, so that's always an advantage. Students get a balanced life experience, access to public transport, workplaces, and of course the campus. So it calls more convenience. So that's about our campuses, Sydney and Melbourne. And if I talk about our programs, we offer currently 3 unique undergraduate programs. The most popular one, of course, is Bachelor of Cybersecurity. We all know its demand, not just in Australia, anywhere in the world. It's a very popular program, like I mentioned, at our campus. The differentiating factor with our cybersecurity program is that along with the technical skills, we also work on the social aspect of the student in terms of developing the soft skills or the human factors, which are very, very relevant. Because at the end of the day, you can be a cybersecurity analyst, but you're working for a business, and business is all about people. So we have identified this gap that usually the technocrats, they lack, or they are not exposed to the human factors much during their education. So that's how we are differentiating. This course also comes with an internship opportunity in the second year of study. And if I talk about scholarship opportunities to Sri Lankan students, we offer up to 30% scholarship to Sri Lankan applicants who are interested to study Bachelor of Cybersecurity with us. This course is available at both our Sydney as well as Melbourne campuses. The next intake is February, followed by May and September, which means we have 3 intakes every year. So that was about Bachelor of Cybersecurity. If I talk about my next program, it is again a pretty unique and a very interesting program. It's called Bachelor of Enterprise Management Systems. Currently, we are the standalone provider in Australia to deliver this qualification. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it. This course is very interesting, actually. It combines aspects of IT and automation into business. We all know that today, any business which is trying to grow is trying to adapt to some kind of technologies, some kind of systems, automations, and at the end of the day, they're dealing with a lot of data and information. So businesses is all about making those data and information more meaningful. So this course is a conscious attempt to expose the students to such modern day tools and automations that we need today in business. Whether we talk of marketing, we talk of CRM, we talk of global supply chain systems, we talk of data analytics, we talk of inventory management systems, we talk of accounting systems, we talk of HR information systems. So regardless of any aspect of management, today we are using technology into various aspects. So that is how the productivity is enhanced. Gone is the era of Excel. We are talking about now systems. So we have to move ahead with one step ahead of technology so that our businesses continue to flourish. So that's the idea behind this program. And ever since it has been launched, we've seen a lot of interest from South Asian students, especially because this kind of combination is usually rarely offered in their home country. And it calls for a unique qualification. So that was my second course, Bachelor of Enterprise Management Systems. Just like cybersecurity, students can get up to 30% scholarship for this program as well. And we have multiple intakes, February, May, and September at both Sydney and Melbourne campuses. This course also comes with an internship opportunity. I'm very happy to share many of my South Asian students, especially, have converted those internship opportunities into an employment opportunity. This is something I can brag about. So being a part of this unique program gives them a space, gives them an opportunity actually to prove themselves either in the technical or the non-technical field. So I have many such examples of students from Nepal, India, who have got employment opportunities through the internships that we are offering in the second year of study. So that's very encouraging to see personally. That was our second program, Bachelor of Enterprise Management Systems. Our third course is even more interesting. It's called Bachelor of International Business. Now, we all know that in today's context, the world is merging into one. The economies are going seamless. Sitting in India, I can have business anywhere in the world. Sitting in Sri Lanka, you can operate anywhere in the world. So it is all about understanding the global strategy, how to operate in markets, how to think local, but how to act global. So this has a very huge context. Sri Lanka being an island country, heavily reliant on imports and exports, basically trade. So there are a lot of opportunities in the field of international business that are available to Sri Lankan students. So students have an excellent career avenue once they complete this program. Again, it's a 3 years degree with multiple intakes, February, May, and September, and up to 30% scholarship opportunity with an internship linked in the second year of study. So these are my three unique undergraduate programs that we currently offer. Bachelor of Cybersecurity, for those who want to make a career in this field. Bachelor of Enterprise Management Systems for students who want best of both worlds into one, IT and business into a single program. And then a Bachelor of International Business program for students who want to make a career in this particular domain. So these are my three unique qualifications. Applications are currently open for February intake. And of course, BMW is one of our trusted global partners. So if you have more questions, more queries, you can definitely approach them. If I talk about our application turnaround times, we are pretty quick with the offer letter. Usually they are processed in 24 to 48 working hours. In terms of the student engagement, we do a lot of activities like student peer support program is one I can think of. Whenever a new student comes in to our campus, we assign a mentor, usually from the subcontinent. So that mentor is a year or two ahead of you. So they give you the practical insights, or they kind of help you into a transition from one world to another. So you have somebody to give you a tap on your shoulder and say, I'm with you. So that student peer support program is quite useful for students, like I mentioned, especially in their smooth transition or settlement into a new way of life, new way of learning. So that's again something that makes us unique. We have a dedicated student support at both our campuses. We understand the students where they're coming from, so we give them that extra cushion to settle down, especially in the initial couple of months. That's something really helps them to absorb themselves into a new way of life much better. So if you need more information, you can always contact BMW Education, and I'll be there after the next session to answer any questions that you may have. Over to you, Ayodhya.
Thanks a lot, Karanjeet. Thank you for all the information about the course offerings as well as the campus itself. We do have two questions, Karanjeet. The first question is a very popular question in Sri Lanka. They're wondering if IELTS exemptions can be given if they have studied in English medium.
All right. At the moment, no. We will need an English proficiency score from the applicant. So in case of IELTS, we need, for cybersecurity, we need 6, no less than 6. And in case of other two programs, it's 6, no less than 5.5 or equivalent. We do accept PT, but exemption at the moment won't be a possibility.
Okay, Karanjeet, I'll also add to that question. There are quite a few institutions in Sri Lanka that offer the Australian diploma or a foundation. If a student has done an Australian diploma or a foundation, are they able to get exemptions?
Correct. Yes, I should have covered that. Yes, in those cases, exemptions will be granted.
Okay. Thank you, Karanjeet. And the next question is, if I have done 1 year of a business bachelor's, can I get exemptions? I think they're asking for credit exemptions.
Credit exemptions, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can always do that on case-to-case basis. Of course, we'll have to buy some extra time for you before we give you an offer. That's possible on case-to-case basis, yeah.
Perfect, Karanjeet. And the last question I have is, if I'm a married applicant, can I apply for bachelor's?
Unfortunately, not, Ayodhya. We are only accepting single applicants. Married applicants, even if applying single, are discouraged. So we'll not be able to accept married cases, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Karanjeet. Those are the only questions that we have received for now. But I'm sure as the webinar goes and as there's more people joining in, there'll be more questions that are going to be popped up, Karanjeet. Thank you very much,
Sure.
Karanjeet.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. I think Sebastian has joined our session.
Yes,
Hi, Sebastian. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me over for today's session.
Thank you for joining us, Sebastian, especially on a Saturday, on your off day. We do have quite a few people in the webinar, and there's also quite a few people watching us live on Facebook as well. So, Sebastian, I'll just give a small introduction about yourself. Sebastian Cabrera is the recruitment manager for Charles Sturt University, the largest regional university in Australia. So, without further delay, Sebastian, if you want to take over.
Thank you so much. Yeah, can you hear me properly? Is that the sound correctly?
Yes, Sebastian.
Well, first of all, yeah, thank you for the invitation. First time that I'm invited to BMW's sessions online. So I think this becomes a little bit more a common thing. So you guys can know more about regional cities and Charles Sturt University. CSU is very well known in Sri Lanka. So we used to have a campus in Sydney and Melbourne back in time. So it was very popular. Now we are located only in regional New South Wales. Recently, we reopened the Sydney campus, but it's got a very different entrance admission system. So we encourage always to go back to the agent to check how it works. Today, my information the information I'm going to provide you is going to be only about regional New South Wales. And why regional? Because we're having a lot of popularity. You know that the Australian government has provided some incentives for international students to come and study in regional Australia. And the reason is because the big cities are a little bit more congested. So the Australian government in general has the policy to spread the population across the other cities, smaller cities, but they are very well established cities as well. So Charles Sturt University has been in these regional cities for a long time, for over 30, 40, even our history goes back 100 years with different names, so it's been changing over time. But we're very well established and very well known in Australia. So this is to give you an idea and another option. So if you're thinking that you're going to go to Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, I'm not going to convince you of not going there. So it's for those who have a bigger picture, who really want to have other options and don't want to follow what everybody does. So regionals offer big incentives for students, not only migration-wise, because and this is something that as university we're not allowed to develop and explain much, but that students who come to study to regional cities have more extended postgraduate rights. And also, when you come to study to a regional university, your possibilities to become a permanent resident and citizen duplicate. This is something that is my personal perception, but you can always go to a migration agent or with the agency with BMW and check about these details. So see what the possibilities are when you come to a regional city in Australia. So the word regional city sounds very remote and very underdeveloped, but the reality is that that is a category that the Australian government gives to smaller cities. The fact that they're called regional doesn't mean that you're going to come here and it's just a town with nothing and it's just rural without buildings or within any infrastructure. No. The reality is that our regional cities are well structured. We have shopping malls, we have big hospitals, we have great facilities, big roads, highways, airports, we have train stations, so are very well connected and they are very dynamic. So there are lots of restaurants where you can work while you study. There are lots of buildings and places where you can find employment very easily during your studies. And after you finish your studies, you will always be able to find employment in regional cities as well. As well, you can move later to a bigger city to explore Australia. But the reality is that regional cities in New South Wales, at least, have been very well invested by the Australian government. So we have really good infrastructure at the moment. So myself right now, I'm based in Bathurst, so where we have one of our biggest campuses. And when I came to Bathurst 5 years ago, I thought, oh, this is a small city. I probably not going to like it, but here I am and I love it. I wouldn't change my life in another city in Australia because everything is close. It's 5 minutes distance to everywhere. We have 3 shopping malls here. We have 3 big hospitals, sports facilities. So I go to swim every day. There are basketball courts. So the other part of it that it's a smaller city is that people is a lot more friendly. So you get to know more Australian friends. You develop more level of English as well over time than in the big cities. Because in the big cities, yeah, it's pretty cool when you arrive and all these big buildings and infrastructure. But after a month, the magic goes away and people is always in their own business. So you probably live that if you live there in Sri Lanka in a big city, people is in their own business. They don't stop. Whereas in a smaller city, people want to know more about you. You have more opportunities to have a conversation, to develop friends. I have met people here in small towns that they have become nearly my family because they become very close to you. They want to know where you're from, what sort of food do you eat there in Sri Lanka, and people is very curious. So this is just a brief introduction about regional cities. So now as university, we are the largest university in regional Australia. So we have 43,000 students. We're very well known in Australia because our students work mostly with the Australian government. So we are the only university in Australia, in New South Wales that trains the police force. So the police in Australia is trained by Charles Sturt University. So every police person that you see in the street here, they have in their house a diploma made from Charles Sturt University. And that is just to give you an idea how well known the university is in Australia. So their reputation is really high. This is one of the reasons why our students are more preferred by employers in Australia. So we are the #1 university for graduate employment and starting salaries. This is a massive claim. So this is something that is heavily regulated in Australia. So I couldn't be able to say this if it wasn't true. So the Australian government makes a survey to students who finish their degree. So let's say you finish a bachelor's degree, you finish a master's degree. The Australian government calls you after that and checks what you're doing after graduation. And they check in the systems as well that. So we know that our students after graduation, they are preferred by employers. So if they are applying for a job and there are 5 people from other universities, from other countries, and they see somebody from Charles Sturt University, they will be preferred over others just because of the reputation that the university has. And obviously because of the quality of education that we provide. So that's very important because when you are deciding which university in Australia to go and saying, okay, I'm investing all this money, all this effort to go to Australia, what I'm gonna have in return out of it. So the possibility of graduating from a university with a great reputation that is gonna make you more employable in Australia, it's something that you should definitely consider. So it's something that when you're deciding, okay, I'm between this uni and this other university, do the check, go online, visit the Australian government website, and check which university has the more employability in your field. So we're the #1 university for IT students in Australia, same for agriculture, same for accounting, same for nursing, so and several other fields. But in general, the population of students, we're the #1 also in graduate employment. Also in starting salaries, which means our students, when they apply for the big jobs, for jobs that are higher paid, they get a job. So our students get much better salaries than other students from other universities. We even compete, and we are even better than students who go to the big unis, like the group of 8 universities, which are twice the price of our university. And we still deliver much better outcomes for our students than other big universities. So think very strongly on that. So 1, we're a much more affordable university. 2, you're gonna be in a regional city where you have more possibilities of migration outcomes possibly. So depending on your profile, depending on how good you're studying, depending on your age, depending on many factors. But in general, I encourage you to look into the Australian government website and look into what the possibilities are if you consider regional. So regional is not for everybody. If you're somebody who already are set up for Sydney, Melbourne, go to Sydney, Melbourne. But for those who really want to explore something that is right now not as popular, but still popular for Sri Lankan students, and we have Sri Lankan students here who are doing really well, you're always welcome and you will be part of the family. So now, which programs do we have? I'm going to share with you my screen very quickly. I'm showing you now the prospectus. So you can go online. I'm going to send you this link so you can access this. Here you will be able to see a lot of information about us, our vice chancellor, why study with us. But I want to go just a brief breakthrough where we are located. So I'm going to zoom this up a little bit. So this is Australia, right? Here in the corner, Sydney, Melbourne, that's for reference. But we are located in these orange dots in here. So I'm right now located here in Bathurst, Orange, Port Macquarie, Wagga, and Albury. So these are great cities where to live, great cities for a student to be really well connected to the other big cities. There are airports, we have a train system that is amazing, and they are all interconnected by highways as well. This area where our campuses are located is the area where most of the food in New South Wales and in Australia is produced. So it's a very green area. So we produce a lot of food, a lot of cattle in this region. So there are a lot of options. The industry and the money flows very heavily because there's lots of business that come around those businesses. So there are opportunities for employment for you as well. And not only employment in hospitality or part-time jobs, because there are so many businesses that need professionals. So if, for instance, you are already an accountant in Sri Lanka and perhaps you want to have a part-time job while you're studying your Masters of Accounting with us, you can find a professional job in accounting in the cities because there is less competition for the jobs studying in the big cities. So very important for you to consider that as well. So our campuses are the state of the art. So the government has made a heavy investment in our campuses because we're a university from the Australian government. So our labs, our information technology infrastructure is one of the top in Australia. So you will be studying with the top professionals plus with the top infrastructure. So that's very important as well when you consider, because for the price that we offer, if you go to Sydney or Melbourne, you go to a private provider where the infrastructure is not going to be as good as ours. So very important that you consider that as well. So CSU, Charles Sturt University, is from the Australian government and will provide you with the best of the best that there is in Australia. We have accommodation on campus as well. You can come and study with us and live with us. Scholarships, we're going to go into this one in a minute. Because that's a big point for you to know. Right now, what I want really to stop into is the programs. So pretty quickly, I show you that we have programs in agriculture. We have the bachelor's and the master's degree. These are programs that are very good, very strong right now around the world. So even if you go back to Sri Lanka, you will find employment in this area. In Australia, there is high demand of employment as well in the agricultural sector, and really good outcomes as well in migration. Bachelor of Occupational Therapy, Paramedicine. So these are programs that Sri Lanka students are really well set up for this because you guys have very good education system. Usually the IELTS profile is a little bit higher. If you can see it's 6.5. So it's a little bit higher than the normal programs. Pharmacy, same 7, no band below 6.5. So it's a little bit higher than normal. So it's not for everybody. But that's the same reason why these programs, once you finish your degree, you're going to have really good possibilities of employment. Bachelor of Physiotherapy, Pediatric Medicine. So we're a university with more than 300 programs. For international students right now, we have 23 programs to choose from. Animal science, equine science, vet science. So for instance, this program is a little bit expensive per year. So not everybody wants to get into this program. It's a 6-year program. And it's also very difficult to get in. But if this is your dream, we have it. And we're one of the best in Australia for this as well. Business studies. This is one of the popular programs that our Sri Lankan students come to study with us. So this is located only in Port Macquarie campus, which is 4 hours away from Sydney. So it's relatively close, very well connected. There are 8 flights from Port Macquarie to Sydney every day. So that's just to give you an idea how well connected it is. IELTS score 6, no band below 5.5, which is very low, very easy to access. Also the Bachelor of Accounting, very popular from Sri Lankan students. Same situation, 6, no band below 5.5, and they are both available in February and July. Masters of Professional Accounting. This used to be a few years back our top program in Sri Lanka. This program has an internship that sometimes can be paid, sometimes cannot be. But the good thing is when you finish your Masters in Accounting with us, which is a 2-year program, you get the full postgraduate rights from the Australian government, which is up to 6 years in regional, which is huge. I mean, this is something you have to always check with a migration agent or go to the Australian website, because the postgraduate rights is not something the university gives you, it's something the government gives you. So very important, the clarification in there. And the IELTS score is 6, no band below 5.5. Only writing has to be 6, so very important that as well. The good thing from this master's is that the last part of the master's, you get an internship that is 6 months with a well-reputed company in Australia. So you finish with a great reputation university certification in a master's degree, plus work experience 6 months with a really good Australian company. That guarantees you that you're going to find employment after graduation in Australia or wherever in the world that you go back to. We have theology, ministry. Those are sort of religious programs that we have, not very popular from Sri Lanka. Environmental science is starting to be important as well around the world. Social work is one of the programs that you guys like there as well, so consider that one. Communication, it's also a little bit important for some regions there in Sri Lanka. Bachelor Information Technology, this is the biggest one that we have right now for Sri Lanka students. And I'm going to talk to you about the scholarships that we have, because we have a 10%, we have a 25%, and we have a 50% scholarship. So don't let this opportunity go. This is a great program at a great university. We have the best contacts for you with this bachelor and the Masters of Information Technology. And the reason is we just partnered with IBM. IBM is this American brand that's been producing computers and software technology for over 30, 40 years. So they just came to Australia and they established their research capabilities with that at CSU in Battett's campus. So they created their own research facilities with us. What happens is if you study our bachelor's or our master's in IT, you will be having the internship with IBM. So if you have a really good bachelor's degree and an internship, like which is professional experience with such a massive brand, then you will be able to find employment anywhere in the world, and you will have one of the best salaries after graduation. So that's why students from Sri Lanka are coming in big numbers to study with us this Bachelor of Information Technology. So this is probably something that agents and other agencies and some friends won't tell you, because this is just for very few people who are able to actually pass to this program. Relatively easy IELTS. You don't have a high level. It's not like 6.5 or 7. No, it's 6, only 5.5. And the fees, if you get accepted with us, you get immediately 10% scholarship. If you have 75% GPA from high school, you can get up to 25% scholarship. And if you get the 25% scholarship, you are automatically eligible to apply for the 50% scholarship, which is competitive. So that one is not automatic. You can apply for that one. And so just a few number of students will be given that 50% scholarship. But if you get the 25% scholarship per year, this prize with that scholarship already, it's a great prize for the quality of program that you, and reputation that you get. So don't let this opportunity go. If you want to see more about the course structure, if you want to see more about what the facilities are, please come to this link here, study csu.edu.au/IT, and you will be able to see a lot more. You will be able to see what technologies, what facilities, what the labs are, each subject that you will be looking at, and because these programs have also the option to choose some specialization areas. So you will be able to see that we have cybersecurity, software development, data management. So we have very, very important specializations that are going to make you more employable. And so find more in the website for the program. Same as a master's degree. It's a 2-year master's degree, and it's huge popularity from Sri Lankan students here, especially Sri Lankan students who are already in Australia, that they realize about the reputation of the university, and they realize of also what we offer in terms of student experience, so the campus, the services that we offer, plus the reputation and the quality of the program. The students will come all the time to study with us. So the Masters of IT also offers 5 specializations in very hot areas, well, like, I mean, in these employable areas, which are cybersecurity, software development, data science. I can't remember all of them right now in my head, but you will be able to see that. I think I have it in here. So you will be able to see always whenever you come to our website, make sure that you are looking into the international section, because otherwise you will be having the wrong information. So I just click there and it will show me all the information that you need to know about the program. Starts in February, next intake. It's on campus in Port Macquarie. So very important, that one. We also have it in Sydney, but the Port Macquarie campus is the campus where we have the best infrastructure for this program. So we have all the best labs, and also the cost of living in regional is lower than in the big city. So if you want to have the same salary, but spending less money, I encourage you to come to this program. So you can see all here why to study with us, career opportunity, all the areas that you want to know more about. So if you want to see the subjects that you will be looking at, the cost, all the information that you require here as well, the best place to come is the website. So let's continue with this one. So I don't want to stop you too much into this because I don't want to bore you, but did really want to stop in the Masters of IT because most of you would be interested in this program. So it's a 2-year program. That is also very important because programs for to be eligible for the postgraduate rights, they have to be programs more than 2 years. My understanding, this is something you have to also check by yourself. Very important to do the checks and find out what the opportunities are. We have dentistry, oral health, medical radiation is a big program for us in other countries there in the region. So students from Pakistan, from Nepal, they come to study these programs. I don't know why Sri Lankan students haven't realized that we have this program. It's one of the most employable programs in Australia. So if you're considering other options, not only IT, and you still really, your database, that you like technology, radiation science is one of the programs that gives you employment, and you're one of the best paid employees in Australia. It's one of the areas that you get much better salary. So do a lot of research about that as well, because sometimes people do what everybody else do. They go to Sydney, they go to Melbourne, and they do IT. Whereas there are other areas, medical radiation science, for instance, is one of those where you will be able to have really good salary, very nice lifestyle, and also you use a lot of that knowledge and preparation that you have because you love. Bachelor of Nursing as well. Regional students that are studying nursing are 2 or 3 times more likely to become permanent residents if they come to a regional city. The big reason is also that there are lots of hospitals, lots of opportunities for students to find part-time jobs in nursing, and also the cost of living in regional makes a lot more sense for a student from Sri Lanka to come here. It's a lot cheaper than in Sydney and Melbourne, and you have much better quality of life. And believe me, it's not just the same. It is actually, you can feel it because you spend less in transport, you spend less time moving from one place to another. There are really good opportunities to employ yourself in different areas. So it is a really good option. IELTS for nursing is a little bit high, 7, no one below 7. So important that as well. Criminal justice, policing, one of the big areas as well, psychology, social science, education, and we have over 300 programs that you can study online. So these online programs, the only problem they have is that they are not eligible for a student visa. So if you want to stay in Sri Lanka for any reason, family reason, or that you have a job right now that you don't want to drop, study online is a great opportunity because they are the same qualification as if you were studying in Australia. They have the same validity. Let's say in the future you want to migrate to Canada or to the USA, and if you have an online study with us, it's the same as if you have studied with us on campus. It's the same program, it's the same validity, and you can work in any field around the world. So we have programs all over it. I know this is not very popular. Obviously, what you're paying is for the experience to come to Australia. I get it, and we love to have our students face to face as well. And I myself, I'm the kind of person who loves having international students, and I meet pretty much every international student who arrives and make sure that you guys have everything that we promised to have. So very important that. So that's what I wanted to show you. The scholarships. I'm jumping off here very quickly into our website. The reason why I'm doing this in a website and not in a PowerPoint presentation is because you guys are more into online things, and you guys should go to the sources of the information. So whenever you want to come back to see the scholarships, you just pop in Google CSU scholarships, and it's gonna drop you here. So you're gonna be able to access this information more easily. So very important. If you apply with us and you get an offer letter, you automatically get the 10% discount. So you don't have to apply for anything special. Now, automatically, we give you with your offer a 10% discount. So very important that. But if you have much better results from your high school or from your bachelor's degree, and you're going to study with us the Masters of IT or the Masters of Accounting or the Masters of Agriculture, then you get a 25% discount. So if you're going to study Bachelor of Accounting, you have to have scores above 75%. Same for business, same for education, same for information technology, psychology. But when it comes to other programs, let's say you want to study radiation science, you have to have a little bit of higher level of results. So check that before you apply, but still really good. I mean, like this 25% scholarship, it's for those students who have a little bit much better results from their previous studies. Same for the Masters of Agricultural Science, Masters of Accounting, Masters of Information Technology, over 70%. I'm pretty sure you guys, all of you, have over 70% GPA in your previous studies. So go for it. Don't miss out this opportunity of having the 25% scholarship. And the last scholarship is the 50% scholarship, which is the Vice Chancellor Scholarship. It also applies for these programs that are very, very popular with us. So the Masters of IT, Bachelor of IT, Accounting, Masters of Accounting, all the programs that you see listed in here are eligible for the 50% scholarship. For this scholarship, you have to submit a essay that is a 500-word and hold an unconditional offer and being invited for it. So if you got the 25% scholarship, you will be invited for the 50% scholarship. So really good opportunity. I'm pretty sure you guys really want to get this scholarship, because without scholarship, our programs are already very affordable. But who doesn't want to have a 50% or a 25% scholarship? Without scholarship, for instance, the Masters of IT is 33,920. You can do the math to be able to find out what the 20% discount looks like. So very important that. I'm gonna stop there and open the floor for questions, or if you want me to deep down into something specific.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. Thank you for the very informative session. And thank you for going through all the facilities and the courses that you'll provide, especially the scholarships as well, which is a very, scholarships are one thing that a lot of students from Sri Lanka do look for. I will start off. We do have a few questions here, Sebastian, for you. To start off with, the first question is, will we be able to change courses in the same institute before 6 months? I think what he's trying to ask is if he does come to, let's say, Charles Sturt University, for example, within the first 6 months, is he able to change course?
Unfortunately, not. So there will have to be a very strong reason why you will have to change. But if you already know that you're gonna change the program, it doesn't make any sense. So the best always is to have really good insight about the program you're gonna apply for, before you apply with us. So you're very sure about the program that you're gonna, because let's say we allow you to, you would still, I think you have to pay again for the subjects that you're gonna study again. So nothing comes free with the universities when there is a change of mind. So I would say the best always is to do a really good research about which subjects you're going to study, what's the way that they are evaluated. So we have in the website, if you click in every subject, you will see what's the content of every subject, how these subjects going to be evaluated. So research, I think, is going to avoid you not only spending money that you probably want to save that, and also it's going to save you headaches, because once you're in Australia and you want to change a program, I think there is a way to do it. There's always going to be a way to do it, but you have to go through processes, submit documents, wait for a meeting to go through this. So I wouldn't suggest, if you already are not sure about the program, I would say stop there, think twice, go over the information about the program, and decide which program. It's always better to do the proper research before applying. So that's the way I would say it. But in general, I would say right now, the best answer to say is no, we wouldn't allow it too easily, unless there is a very strong reason to change the program.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you for that. Second question we have is, does Diploma of Nursing from Sri Lanka give 1 year exemption from Bachelor of Nursing?
Yep. So we do have credit recognition. So what we do is we can accept up to 5 subjects from Sri Lanka. So it's not a full year recognition, but depending on the grades, depending on where did the student graduated in Sri Lanka, we would be able to look into that. So same as all universities in Australia, when you apply for credit recognition, you would need some extra time. So if you're planning to apply for that, I suggest you to apply now, because it takes up to 4 weeks for faculty, because that goes to a person who's the only person in the university, in every university is the same thing, who knows exactly what the equivalences are. So they will look into which university, what subjects, what was your grading, and they will compare it with ours. And they will say, yes, this one, yes, this one, yes, this one, yes. So it is a really good possibility. We do a lot of that with Nepalese students. They generally come here already for the second semester, and they already have 5 subjects done and dusted. So yes, as long as you fulfill also the English requirement.
Thank you, Sebastian. And may I add to that question, Sebastian? What about if a student has a Diploma of Nursing from Sri Lanka plus, let's say, 5 years of work experience as a nurse? Does that change the exemptions?
Well, we're talking about something different there. So academically speaking, the student would be eligible. Yep. And the situation is that for having an Australian visa, when you have work experience after graduating from your diploma, there might be some concerns from the Australian government to issue a visa. So this is something that the agency can help you. So if you come to BMW, they will be able to assess your eligibility for the student visa. Because with us as university, academically, this person with 5 years work experience would be eligible for the university, but may not be eligible for a student visa. So even though 5 years experience are really good, but the Australian government will want to know many other reasons. Why do you work? What are your aspirations in life? And there are many other parts of the story when you apply for a student visa with the Australian government. And that's the reason why we as university, we don't accept applications directly. You have to go through as education consultancy to help you with the visa processing, because they're going to tell you as well if you're eligible for the student visa. So that's my answer. So academically speaking, yes, but there might be some other factors that we will have to check for the visa eligibility.
Thank you, Sebastian. The next question we have is, does Bachelor of Veterinary Science and veterinary biology lead to as a veterinary doctor? I guess the occupation.
Yes. So they are programs that are accredited by the Veterinary Science by Animal Science Council in Australia. So you could work as a vet doctor in Australia and New Zealand. So there are programs that are it's a 6-year program, and they are $63,000 per year. So it's very expensive.
Thank you, Sebastian. Can we do Bachelor of Social Work with ELICOS if I have one band below 7?
Good question. So at the moment, we don't offer ELICOS, we don't offer packages. So that's very unfortunate. We're working on that. Hopefully next year we have more opportunities for that. So we're looking at the option to open an ELICOS opportunity for students. But at the moment, with the current situation, we don't have an opportunity for students who have a lower level of English to come and do a package with us or with a different English provider. So at the moment, if a student wants to apply with Charles Sturt University, has to have already the level of English there in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Sebastian. Then the next question is, how many intakes do you have per year?
We have 2 intakes, February and July. So our next intake right now, it's going to be February 2024. Some programs only have 1 intake per year, such as the vet science program, for instance, or dentistry only have 1 year, once per year. But the Masters of IT, Masters of Accounting, Masters of Agriculture, Bachelor of IT, Bachelor of Accounting, Bachelor of Agriculture, Bachelor of Nursing, they are all twice per year. So you have really good opportunities to come with us.
I think something to add to that, Sebastian, is that Bachelor of Nursing, for example, is a very high demand course, and applying as early as possible would be the best course of action, right, Sebastian?
That's right. And there is something that I didn't mention. I'm going to probably share my screen again because it's about the Destination Australia Scholarship. So the Destination Australia Scholarship, I'm not sure if the university has that in here. External scholarships. No, it's not here anymore. But there is something that is called the Destination Australian Scholarship. Let's Google it. Destination Australia Scholarship. So these Australian Destination Australia scholarships are given by the Australian government, and they provide you with $15,000 per year that you can spend in anything. So the university, Charles Sturt University, has been during the last 3 years eligible for this Destination Australian Scholarship. So if you can see, it's $15,000 per year. So we usually have 15 to 20 students that the Australian government provides this scholarship for our students at CSU. So what's the requirement for this? I'll encourage you to come here. Basically, for our students in nursing, IT, or accounting, they have to be accepted and have to have paid already the first semester of studies with us. What happens is the Australian government says, okay, you university, you manage the scholarships. They give us a criteria. So the students have to apply with a essay, and they have to say why they would like to study with us at CSU and why regional 6. Generally, that's the overall. This year can be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be the same. So normally this scholarship comes around November, December opens, and it opens for those students who have been already accepted and have paid already the first semester. So we know already that for next year, for next year's scholarship, they are going to open now in November. So the government already gave us the heads up. They said, yep, we're going to have the student Destination Australia Scholarship. So my advice is for you in Sri Lanka right now, if you're thinking to apply now, because that means that by November, you have already been accepted and you have already paid your first semester, because these scholarships are given to those first who apply first serve. So that's the basis of that scholarship. So those students who are already there are the first ones who we offer that scholarship. So if you're considering to study, you have everything that's needed, do it now. It is a great opportunity. Australian government gives you $15,000 per year in cash in your bank account that you can spend in anything you want. So some students buy a car, some other students pay debts, some other students use that money for anything else. So it's a huge opportunity for students. We have a lot of really happy students who get that. But also very important that not everybody gets the scholarship because that is managed by the Australian government. And it's only for very few students. The criteria for that scholarship is not academic performance in your high school or in your bachelor's degree. It's just the only criteria is to have been accepted already and to be the first to apply. So if you're already ready to apply, do it now because your chances to get the scholarship are a lot higher. So that's my advice in terms of a huge scholarship that is available.
Thank you, Sebastian. We do have another 3 or 4 questions, if that's all right, Sebastian.
Yep. Yeah, that's all right.
The next question is, do you have your own English, I believe, proficiency test for international students, an alternative for IELTS?
We don't have our own. We accept IELTS, PT, all the normal ones. We just don't accept the online ones that are not accepted, but the normal ones, yes. So every time the student has any different exam, just come to the agency. They're gonna tell you which ones are accepted by the Australian universities. Usually the same ones that every university in Australia accepts. We accept.
Thank you, Sebastian. I think we can add to that the issue that we spoke about earlier today as well. We had a certain student who wants to apply for Bachelor of Nursing, but one of the bands in her IELTS is less than 7 at 6.5. And I think, Sebastian, you did say that the IELTS 1 skill retake can be accepted.
Yes. So Australia in general, most universities are moving towards this. So it's not only CSU, it's not only us, but most universities now, we accept a retake. That's something that IELTS created because PTE, which is a competition for English exams, they were doing it. So IELTS created this opportunity as well to retake within a frame time. I think it is within the last between 3 weeks after you took the first exam, you can retake just one specific band. And if you pass that band, we recognize it. So the short answer, yes, we recognize it as long as you pass that band.
Perfect, Sebastian. The next question is, how far are the regional campuses from Sydney, and how is the cost of living compared to cities like Sydney and Melbourne? Do you help students with sourcing accommodation outside the university?
Good question. So look, in terms of how much it costs to live in regional, I would say it's a 30 to 40% cheaper than in big cities. But it also depends on what your standard of life is. So I know students who come to regional and they want to live in a luxury apartment. We have Asian students from China who they want to live in a super high end and with a car. So it's not going to be a big difference between a big city. But if you're a normal student who wants to live in a student accommodation, it is hard. It's huge difference in terms of the cost of living, especially accommodation. So for instance, to give you an idea, if you live with us on campus, the cost per week is $150. And that includes bills, includes water, electricity, gas, includes all the amenities. It doesn't include food, but if you compare living on campus in Sydney, living on campus in Sydney in a normal university like CSU would be around $400 to $500 per week. So that gives you an idea of what it is the cost. And if you don't want to pay the $150 for a week in CSU, for instance, and regional, you will find outside the university accommodation around $80 per week and very close to the university. So always do the search online. So there are websites where you can see how much it costs the rent in different cities in Australia. So you can do, depending on what type of lifestyle you want, you can see that. You can also get into the supermarkets and see the prices of food. You can see what the amenities are. So that's very important to do the research. But from my own experience, I can tell you at the moment, I have opportunities to get employment in Sydney. I wouldn't go to Sydney. Sydney is beautiful. Sydney is breathtaking. The Sydney Harbour, the buildings, the trains are pretty cool. But the cost of living, which is the day to day, you won't have anything. You earn money, you're gonna spend it in transport system, and the time goes pretty much from one place to another place. You spend an hour or 2 hours. Whereas in regional, it's so easy. You don't spend time in transport system. It makes a big difference in the daily life of the student. So yeah, that's in terms of the cost of living. The other part of the question was if we help students to find accommodation. We have a big section of the university that's called student services for international students specifically. So we give advice and help the students who are struggling to find accommodation or things. We help them with that. We don't find the accommodation for you. So we don't do the thing that, you need accommodation, we go and get you. No, we have the option of accommodation on campus, and our international students have priority for on-campus accommodation. So we always advise the students to the first semester, go on campus because it's easy and you don't spend in transport system because you are 20 meters away from the classroom. So it's very convenient, you save money, it is very comfortable, and you make a lot of Australian friends because most of our students are Australian citizens. So with the CSU is the university for domestic students mostly. So we have students from Sri Lanka, we have students from India, we have students from all over the world, but most of our students are Australian citizens, which makes a big difference compared to these small universities or colleges in Sydney, where most of the students are from India or from Nepal. So what happens is you as a student, you end up learning much better Hindi than English. So that's one of the reasons as well why our students get much possibilities to find employment, is because your level of English skyrockets. So you're all the time sharing with Australian friends, you make Australian friends, understand the way of living of Australia. So when you finish your degree, your accent is nearly Australian. You understand really well what the Australian people want. So when you go to a job, your chances to get a job are much higher than a student who study in Sydney or Melbourne, because most of the students there, they make a lot of friends from Sri Lanka or from India, which is really good. I'm not saying that, but for your professional life, it's gonna be much better to be in contact with people from Australia that are gonna help you to improve your level of English. Sorry, did I answer the question, or probably went off?
I believe so, Sebastian. No, I think you answered the question, Sebastian. Just a couple more questions, Sebastian, for you. Do you have any scholarships for students with high achievements in sports?
Not at the moment. And that is a very honest and very straight answer to that. We don't have scholarship for sports at the moment. It's only, we have the 50% scholarship for high achievers in academic performance.
Thanks, Sebastian. And the last question, it's the same question we had to ask from Karanjeet as well earlier. Do you accept married applicants for bachelor level?
Look, we bachelor level, look, we don't have negative profiles in saying we don't accept this, we don't accept that. What we say, our narrative is our ideal student, our ideal profile is a single student. Yeah. So very important that we don't discriminate that. It depends a lot on the overall profile of the student, but I can tell you that the risk of being rejected are very high if you're already married. So, and the reason is obviously because if you're married before getting into a bachelor's degree means that your priorities in life were very different and not really studying. So that's something that the agency can help you to find. So it's not a requirement for the university. I would say it's more a requirement for a student visa. So the short answer is we don't have a rule for that, but I can tell you that if you're already married before studying a bachelor's degree, it's going to be really hard to get a student visa in Australia. And that is a general answer. Obviously, it depends a lot on your profile of the student. The Australian government sees a very holistic view of the student. So that's why the student agency, the consultancy there can help you to find out if your profile is a good profile for a student visa.
That is very very correct, Sebastian. From an agent's point of view, that's also a guideline that we follow as well. We do notice in the industry that married applicants applying for bachelor's level, there is a higher refusal rate compared to when it comes to master's level. So that is something that we follow as well, Sebastian. I think our team of counselors will be more than happy to help anyone out if they have any questions regarding that side. Thank you very much, Sebastian, for joining us.
No, thank you. Thank
today.
you. I'll be there in Sri Lanka in a few weeks. I'll be visiting your office. So I want to see if you guys that are watching this want to meet me in person. I will be there in the office, I think on the 24th or the 25th. We're still managing the time, but stay connected with BMW's social media that we will probably post when I'm coming. So we can discuss about scholarships or any questions that you have personal. So I very look forward to be there in Colombo in a few weeks. And thank you so much for inviting me over.
Thank you, Sebastian. Definitely looking forward to having you in Sri Lanka and in our office as well. So to everyone, we will be soon publishing the date and time of Sebastian's visit to our office. So if you follow our social media pages, you'll be able to stay up to date on that. Thank you again, Sebastian. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Karanjeet, I'm just wondering if you're still there. There's a couple of questions for you as well.
Please.
Perfect, Karanjeet. So first question is, Karanjeet, I think it must have been said in the session, but the student might have missed it. Do you provide any scholarships, and how is the eligibility criteria?
All right. So at the moment, for Sri Lankan students who are offshore, we are offering a 30% auto-applied scholarship to all our 3 programs. So students don't need to make a separate application. So once you get an offer, the scholarship part will be there on the letter of offer itself. Yeah, and it is for both our Sydney as well as Melbourne campuses.
Thank you, Karanjeet. And just to confirm, it is an automatic scholarship, is it?
Correct. It's an auto-applied scholarship as long as this applicant is meeting our admission requirements, entry requirements, they get an auto-applied 30% scholarship. So makes our tuition fee quite affordable.
Perfect. Thank you, Karanjeet. And the last question is, do any of your programs give extra 2 years in post-study work?
Ayodhya, that's something a little tricky at the moment. Cyber security degree was supposed to be in that list. However, we have raised the concern with the relevant authorities, and we are waiting for an answer. At the moment, it's a no. Yeah. So ideally, cybersecurity, we all know, is in that list. We have that offering, but it was not included in that list. So the answer is no, but yes, our concerned department, compliance, has taken up the matter, and we are waiting for a feedback on that.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, Karanjeet. I mean, that list, everyone, is not a definite list. It will be revised, maybe not 1 or 2 times, multiple times, or it might even be taken out. So so if there are some programs that are not in that list, we don't know. It might be added in the future, and sometimes any programs that are already on the list might be taken out as well. So yes, but if you all have any questions, I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Abid, just checking if you all can see my screen. Yes, okay. Thank you. So again, thank you, Karanjeet, and thank you, Sebastian, for joining us today on this Saturday on your day offs. And if you do have any more questions from our registrants, we'll definitely forward it to you all. And Thank you again. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined us today on this Saturday, especially with the Cricket World Cup going on and Sri Lanka's match going on right now. Thank you very much. I think you guys can go back to it. I'm going to go back to it definitely. I have shared our contact details on the screen, so please feel free to contact us. And one of our expert counselors will be able to help you out, student or visa. And adding to what Karanjeet and Sebastian said, and to your questions, we also do provide not just student counseling, but visa application handling. We also help you out with accommodation sourcing even before you leave Sri Lanka. So by the time you come to Australia, you'll have your accommodation sorted. And we do also help you out with airport pickups and drop-offs as well. At the moment, that is for Melbourne only, but we're expanding that service to other cities as well. Sebastian, I can see your dog. Do you want to introduce him as well to everyone?
His name is Rada. He's a stuffy, English stuffy. You can probably see him sometimes. The camera picks him up.
Was it Ryder?
Rada, yeah.
Ryder. Okay, I think Ryder wants your attention now, Sebastian. So again, thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Karanjeet, and thank you to everyone who's joined us. And looking forward to seeing you all in the next session next Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.